So what are the signs of a changing property market, right? So it is very impossible to time the property market correctly, right? So you need to really look at a few indicators at least to get closer to point out the potential of a change in a property market. So in this video, that's what we're gonna break out. We're gonna break down what are the signs of a changing market. But before we get to that, as you know, in this channel we talk all things real estate, all things personal finance, so that you are the driver of your financial life and not just the passenger. So let's get to it, shall we? So there's several indicators that actually indicate how the market will actually perform at a certain period, right? So experts use these factors or these indicators to predict how the market will behave, right? So that's why they will now advise you what to do and what not to do. So let's get to the first one, right? So we have 4 of them, right? The first one is changing interest rate, right? So many people will be familiar with this indicator because right now everybody is feeling the impact of the changes or the increase of the interest rate, right? But in generally, rising inflation will mean that that interest rate will also rise, right? Leading to less consumer spending as debt becomes more expensive, right? So if interest rates are going up, it means that debt, it becomes more expensive to consumers, and consumers sort of restrict themselves from taking more debt, right? So this means that there will be less qualified buyers in the market, and there will be less activity in the market. So as I'm taking this video today, the Reserve Bank has just confirmed an increase of 50 basis points of the prime lending rate and the repo rate, right? So this is the 10th consecutive hike, which has a cumulative of 475 basis points since 2021 November, right? So we've been through a lot. This life not fair, but okay, I digress. So what happens also when there's lower interest rate? We will get to that just later, but before I get to that, I just want to indicate that at least what we see in terms of inflation is that in April we had an inflation of 6.8, which was a decrease from in March, which was on 7.1, right? So this increase on inflation really is mainly due to other economic factors like the Ukraine-Russia war, but massively is influenced by the severe load shedding, which increases the cost of doing businesses. Now, the impact of the increase on the cost of doing business is that the prices of everything will increase, right? So this is the things that is actually leading to a higher inflation. But at least there was a reduction in March. Let's hope that by end of May will be to a reduction, because remember, the Reserve Bank main purpose is to keep the prime lending rate, the inflation between 3% and 6%. And at this moment in time, we are higher at 6.8. This is why they have increased it for this month, right? So what happens when you have a low inflation in the economy? You will have a lower interest rate, and it will be time where everybody is buying, right? Just like you have seen, just immediately when we came out of the lockdown, everybody was buying because the interest rate were at their lowest. So there was so much happening in the market, so much activities, so much buyers. even to the point that there was actually less stock, right? But talking about less stock, point number 2 or indicator number 2 is the number of available listings, right? So this is also an indicator that shows what change is happening in the property market, right? So during tough economic times, consumers tend to avoid to make large financial decisions, right? So in those tough conditions, you'll find that the estate agents will struggle to secure new listings, for example, or will struggle to find qualified buyers or even qualified tenants. So the situation becomes so hard, right? And then the number of listings is less. And then when you look at in tough economic conditions again, you find that in most cases you will have too many houses in the market and you will have less buyers, because when the economic conditions are hard, like the economy today, it means that most people are not able to afford their homes, which means that the banks forces them to sell, or they decide to sell because they cannot afford their homes, right? But in some cases, you'll find that there's too many buyers and there's less homes in the market. This happens especially on prosperous economic conditions, when you have a lower interest rate, like I have said there, right? And then sometimes you will find that there's a shift that moves from buying properties to more of renting properties, which now we are seeing that it's happening at this point in time, right? But I want to go to the point number 3. Just before I go to indicator number 3, this information that we provide in this channel is very, very useful. And I'm sure as you are watching, it's changing your life. It's educating you. So don't just be educated alone. So subscribe to this channel, like the video, share with your friends and family. And the more you subscribe, you ensure that YouTube spread this information to other people that are like you, right? So let's build this community so that people out there can be educated, right? So indicator number 3, the number of days on the market, right? So this is just a measure of how long properties are on the market before they are sold or they are rented out, right? So on a seller's market, homes does not last very long on the market, right? So before an interested buyer or an interested tenant takes it away, right? But when more and more homes start to sit in the marketing portals for longer than 3 months, then you should see that this is an indication that there's a shift in the market activity, right? But I've made a full video that actually explains what is the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market. So I'll put a link on the description below so that you can clearly understand what I really mean by a buyer's market, what I mean by a seller's market. So I don't want to make this video too long trying to explain something I've explained before, right? The last indicator, but not the least, is the average house prices, right? So this is just a measure of how much properties within your immediate surrounding provide an indication of how well the particular market is performing, right? So you will see if prices are going up, right, most buyers will not buy. If properties are going down, then most buyers will buy. So these are the signs that you need to take note of to just see how the market is performing. So there's a study that Gladstone did in January, which suggests that the house inflation in South Africa will be between 0.9 to 3.7 in 2023, which is a little bit below inflation, so which is not good. But this is just the whole average of the whole of South Africa. Is not exactly the same for other provinces. There are provinces that are performing very well in terms of the house price inflation. So don't really say because I'm saying this, I'm just giving an average for the whole of South Africa. So some suburbs might not follow the trends of what is happening in the province or in the country as a whole. So that is why you need to check with your local property expert to be the one to guide you on what is happening in your area, right? So if you are in the area of Pretoria North, the whole of Pretoria North or the whole of Pretoria West, so I'm the guy for you to be able to advise you on that. But if you are other different areas, then you must look for someone that can assist you in those areas. But one thing to take note is that the need for housing will always be there, right? You know, every time you need a place to stay in, right? So this makes real estate the safest investment option for the people that will make smart purchases. So it is not all gone that now the interest rate are going up. It's not all lost. So if you are making smart purchases, you can still go buy properties in this season. There's nothing wrong about that. It doesn't mean that you must not go buy. It doesn't mean that you must not go sell. There's a lot of videos that I've made with regards to the impact of increasing interest rate, and also if you should fix your interest rate, yes or no. There's a lot of videos that you can just go and educate yourself and see how it helps you, right? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like, to share with your friends. Cheers. I'm the big elephant. No Korea manage. Cheers. I'll see you on the next one.